Yeah. Come on in, come on in. Yeah. Yeah. Our guest is in the house. We just waiting for a couple more people.
Take it back to the old school. Take it back to the old school.
Yeah. Just come on in, just come on in, just come on in, just come on. Just come on in, just come on in, just come on in, just come on. Yeah.
You are now listening to Tango&Cash machine.
We got it going on today. We got the legendary RAYVON coming up in a few minutes. Just want to let a couple of more people come in the room. Man, a lot of history is going to be told about this Harlem hip-hop. Yeah.
Take it back to the old school. Take it back to the old school. Take it back to the old school.
You are now listening to Tango&Cash machine.
Yeah. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Oh, man, it's Friday. The Tango&Cash show. It's your boy, one man, 7 stories, Cash. And I'm doing it real different this evening. We got the legendary pioneer, one of the first hip-hop MCs in Harlem. My main man, he called himself, I call him RAYVON, that's what I know him by. But he's known now as RAYVON the Legend. And we're going to bring him in a few minutes. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. Steven, they still got gang. John, everybody's checking in. Wifey, Apple for Peaches. Let me see if I can get RAYVON in here now, y'all. Let me see. Y'all just give me a minute. I'm going to get him in. Okay. Hey, RAYVON, do me a favor. Send that request. Hold on. Let me see something up here. Okay. Loud, what's going on? Okay. Yeah. Let me see. It's been a minute since I had this problem. Let me try it again. Let's see. Where is he? There he is. All right, I'm sending it to you now, RAYVON. Okay. Hey, RAYVON, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, so I'm prepared for this. RAYVON, what you got to do, right? You got to go out and update your IG. Go out, update your IG, and come back in. That's what it's telling me. It says that you have to update. So go out, come back in, and we're going to get this popping. Once again, I'd like to welcome everybody out. Tango&Cash, yo, Friday edition, one man, 7 stories. Yo, I'm telling y'all, yo, text a friend, call a friend, let them know, because y'all about to learn some real Harlem hip-hop history. You get ready to find out a lot of stuff about the original, okay, let's put it this way. The Bronx is the Bronx, all due respect, right? But we don't talk about Harlem enough. And like I said, I'm not giving myself flowers. Everybody knows I'm one of Harlem's first hip-hop DJs. But this gentleman that we're going to bring on soon, he goes out, come back and update his IG. He got some stories to tell. Shout out to his partner, Johnny Wah. Actually, RAYVON and Johnny Wah was the first hip-hop group out of Harlem. Hold on, let me see if this is him. Yeah, that's him. Okay. what happens. Let's see what happens. But this gonna be crazy. This gonna be crazy. I got to lean back a little bit. There he
No,
is, the legend himself. What's going on, baby?
Cash, Al Cash, what's good, man? What's happening?
Yo, you call hey, wait, Ron. You can call me LB today because we going back to
Okay,
when
Al
we
because that's what it is with me. You know, it's
no
Al
doubt.
with me, all the way back to what, 76, 77, 78, somewhere around there.
Yo, like everybody's about to find out. Like people don't understand about Harlem's hip hop beginning. Like I always talk about Sapphire Crew. You understand? But on the east side, it definitely was these guys called the Magnificent Seven. And you, Johnny Wah, I can't remember everybody's name, man. Actually, I seen a T-shirt, right?
I could name the whole crew if you need me to. I could name the whole crew, bro.
I
You
need
know,
that. They need to hear that. Let's name the whole crew right now, RAYVON. Let's name them.
E-Man was one of the other MCs, but E-Man left the group early. He went to the Army early on, like about 79, maybe 80, 79 to 80. But what a lot of people don't even realize from the beginning, Al, Magnificent Seven was actually, Magnificent Seven was actually 7 DJs to start off with. You know what I mean? Most of them came out of Schaumburg. Matter of fact, just about all of them, maybe about 1 or 2 people didn't come out of Schaumburg on 110th Street. I went to school with, okay, let me start from the beginning. DJ Cookie and Spivey, they formed the group. Now, I knew Cookie from when I first came to New York. I came to New York in 1970. I lived on 137th Street. Cookie lived right across the street from me. We went to public school together. We went to junior high school together. We were in a band class together. So when people started doing hip-hop, I played the trumpet and the trombone. He played the trumpet. So when hip-hop started to make its rounds, you know, they put together a crew. They had 7 DJs. They called themselves the Magnificent Seven. And me, I was just a freelance guy. I was just a guy going around, you know, writing rhymes and rhyming, you know. But the reason I started writing rhymes, may he rest in peace, was because of Lovebug Starsky. And, you know, what happened, I went to the Renaissance one night, and I seen Lovebug Starsky doing his thing. You know, I was like, oh, shit, you know. That was my introduction to hip-hop. So from that point on, I started writing rhymes. But I was already into the street at a young age. So, you know, I'm writing rhymes. We out in the avenue. We doing what we doing. Me and my little man, we in the hallway. He banging on the wall while I'm saying rhymes. And that's how I got started, you know. But the 7 members, like I said, is DJ Spivey, DJ Cookie, Tostic, Shoe Shine, Johnny Wall, me, and E-Man. There was another guy. There was a couple other people who was in the group early on, but they went their own way. DJ Howie D, who's now known as Howie Vine. Yeah, he was in the group too. DJ Silky, DJ Smiley, but they went their own way. So the 7 that we were left with was Spivey, Cookie, Shoe Shine, Tostic, myself, Johnny, and E-Man. So that was the 7.
Hey yo, you just messed my head up because you said Howie. Like that, yo. Now, as long as I know all of y'all, I didn't know Howie ran with y'all, yo. That's crazy.
Howie lived in my building. Me and Howie lived in the same building. Howie lived on he still lived on the 6th floor in 1660. I lived on the 8th floor. Yeah, he lived on the 6th floor. Him and Cookie lived on the same floor.
But you want to know what it is? Honestly, he's a different type of guy. He's not a RAYVON or Al. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Howie just one of them cool dudes. He's smooth. And I think when we started taking because like I said, it was 7 DJs. So when I came aboard, you know, how I came aboard was, you know, I'm from Schaumburg. So when they bring the music out, they playing music, you know, I would go over there and say, yo, can I get on the mic? They were like, yeah, go right ahead. So I get on the mic, start rhyming, so forth and so on. And then Johnny came into play. Me and Johnny went to school together, like I said. But a friend of mine, he brought Johnny around. He didn't know we knew each other. And he was like, yo, Ray, because my name was starting to ring a little bit. And the reason it was ringing because Andre Arell and Lonzo Brown, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they were the premier MCs at that time on the East Side. They had the East Side locked. Nobody was fucking with Jekyll and Hyde. And I battled them, you know, by myself. 1978, I believe. I
Okay.
battled them. And I didn't even battle them with the Magnificent Seven. It was another guy that lived on my floor. He was a college guy. His name was Angel. I don't even know what they called themselves. I forgot what they called themselves, but they was a bunch of college kids. So they wasn't really doing like hip hop cut music. They were just like mixing and playing records.
Right.
So when I battled Jekyll and Hyde, them, they had a couple of DJs. They had rhymes. You know, I had rhymes, but I didn't have nobody who could cut. You know, the guys was mixing records and so forth and so on. So, you know, the excitement of cutting was you know, DJs was just as popular as MCs. You yourself know you was a DJ. You know,
Right,
Donald
right.
D, B-Fat, all your guys was just as popular as the MC. So what happened was, you know, I battled them. You know, I lost. But after that, I started gravitating more towards the Magnificent Seven. And, you know, people was like, yo, if you hook up with Spivey and them, man, you know, next time you battle, because we already knew we was going to battle again. So when the next time we battle, you know, now I'm with the Magnificent Seven, and I got Johnny Wah. So the table, you know, the tables has turned now. You know, we on equal ground now.
Right.
And, you know, the party was crazy. It was a crazy party, man. It was in Clinton Center around late 1978, because the first battle was in July. So around, I guess, October, whatever. And from that point on, we just grew as a group. The Magnificent Seven grew as a group. But me and Johnny being the front men, and E-Man too, E-Man was in the group for a while, you know, our names just took off. And, you know, we met people like, okay, when we met cool DJ AJ came to a party on the east side to see us because, you know, people were talking about us.
Right.
And he came to see us, and he was like, yo, you know, and AJ was from the Bronx, from Morehouse Projects. And he was doing parties with Grandmaster Flash, Bambaataa, Kool Herc. He was doing parties with all the quote unquote legends. And he came down to the east side. He saw me and Johnny do our thing, and he liked us. He said, yo, I'm gonna start putting your name on my flyers. Okay, cool. I don't mind. You know. So we did a few parties with AJ, and now you got Grandmaster Kaz and the Cold Crush 4, Kevin Kev, Robbie Rob, the Fantastic Five. You got all these guys seeing us now, hearing us.
Right.
And when in 1979, you know, again, may he rest in peace. People don't even realize the greatness of Andre Harrell sometimes. I give Andre all the props in the world. Dr. Jekyll from Jekyll and Hyde. Andre talked Fat Jack into letting us rock Harlem World, the summer of 1979. A lot of people don't realize Harlem World was a classy spot. It was still a classy spot, but before hip hop, you had Teddy Pendergrass, Stephanie Mills, you know. Fat Jack owned the spot. He was one of the biggest drug dealers in Harlem. So you had the elite crowds in Harlem World. It wasn't open to us yet. So I don't know how Andre convinced Jack to do it, but around 79, Andre Harrell convinced Jack to have what he called a summer festival in Harlem World, and he opened the doors to us. And once he opened the doors to us, you know what happened after that. You know, it's supposed to have been a week-long thing. You know, it's summertime, everybody's out of school, and the kids need something to do. So it was supposed to be from Monday to Friday. Party every night. Party in about 12 o'clock. Except Friday. Friday party goes on like 4 or 5 in the morning. But so every night, it started out the first Monday, nice crowd comes in. It wasn't packed, but a nice crowd comes in.
Right.
Tuesday night, more people. By the time we got to Wednesday or Thursday, now the place is packed because everybody in Harlem, the word spread. Yo, Harlem World is having hip hop parties. Because I don't know if people realize how important hip hop was during that era. Because if you wasn't playing basketball or hustling in the streets, you didn't really have shit to do. So you go to these hip hop parties and everybody's there, and it kind of made instant hood celebrities out of all of us, yourself, myself, because a lot of people didn't know me. Well, people knew me from playing ball. They probably knew you from playing ball too. So I played ball downtown in King Towers and all that. So they knew me from playing ball, and they knew me from hustling.
Right.
But when I start, you know, getting into hip hop and start rhyming, you know, now that takes me to a whole nother place because I'm on a stage every night. and people are like, yo, you know, hip hop is brand new. That well, not brand new, but it's relatively new at the time. We talking 78, 79.
Right.
So anybody who can rhyme or cut, you the neighborhood celebrity. You know, it's as simple as that. Yeah.
That's real. That's
Yeah.
real. And for everybody that don't know, Harlem World was the premier club on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue. And
Yeah.
again, I didn't know y'all guys was the guys that broke the bridge for hip hop to come inside Harlem World. So that's big. That's real big. So you was talking about the Renaissance. How long? Well, we around the same age, but you know, it's all
yeah.
part
Now,
of the show. But
yeah.
when you came to the Rennie, like that, I mean, Sapphire Crew, B-Fast, Donald D. Albee, Lovebug Starsky, that would really put us on the map. So what was it like? Like, explain to everybody, besides the DJs, the atmosphere, the environment, the flow it was back in 1977 at the Renaissance Ballroom. Just tell everybody how it went down.
Well, the Renaissance, first of all, you know, we all know, you know as well as I do, was a landmark, you know, and I hate the fact that it got torn down, you know. But the first time I walked into the Rennie, it was like I walked into another world. You know, I had never really been to a hip hop party. My little brother Perry, as you know, when we moved downtown to Schaumburg, Perry continued to hang. Well, Pete, we all call him Pete, y'all call him Perry. He continued to come uptown and hang out with you guys. Donald D was in his class, I believe, and Donald, may he rest in peace. Donald D was me and Donald D was born on the same day, January 8th, and my little brother Pete used to come downtown after leaving the Renaissance. He'd come down there. And he's saying, you know, all the rhymes he heard you guys say. Look in the sky, look in the tree, who do you see, Starsky, all of it. So I'm like, what the fuck is he, what the fuck are you saying? He's like, yo, you got to come to the Renaissance, yo. Yo, they be having the hip-hop parties at the Renaissance. So I'm like, all right. So one night, I go up there with him. And when I walk in the Rennie, it was so surreal. Like, people don't even realize the Renaissance, the ballroom, the stage, the dance floor, the two tiers, like this is before Harlem World. So it's like, in my mind, the mecca of Harlem hip hop, the Renaissance. And on stage, you got you, Albee, you got Donald D, B-Fats, Starsky, Bill Glass, Al Sharp, Jimmy West. See, I'm going there. I'm going there right now. I'm going there. You know, a lot of people don't even know these names, but all these people. My boy Wes. I think Wes was your muscle though. I think Wes was beating people up back then. Yeah, he was beating people up back then. Me and Wes almost got into it one time too. But you know, all these people on stage. You got these turntables. You got the mic. The music is playing. The b-boys is dancing. The girls, the fly girls. So this is like an oasis to me. Like, you know, I hadn't been to a party that large yet. I've been to house parties and so forth and so on. You got to remember, like I said, this is before all the stuff we started doing on the east side and this. Well, we were doing parties, but not of that magnitude, because the Renaissance was huge. It was huge. You know, we was doing parties in Mr. Soul, you know, clubs like that. Clinton Center was big because it was a gymnasium, but the Renaissance was the Renaissance, man. Y'all even had food in there. Had food and drinks, hot dogs and shit. So it was that type of party in the Renaissance, man. And the Rennie, like I said, it saddens me every time I ride past there. My wife is younger than me. She's much younger than me. And my kids, you know, I tell them the history of the Renaissance. And, you know, it's like, there's like, for real, Daddy, yeah, that was a black landmark. They should have never torn that down. The same as the Audubon Ballroom. But the Rennie set the tone for parties, not just in Harlem. Again, you spoke in the Bronx earlier, right? And like you said, I give the Bronx their props. You know, I give the Bronx their props. But don't act like it wasn't popping off in Harlem. Don't act like it was Flash. Everybody was there. All y'all was coming down to the Renaissance. Was the first time I seen Flash at the Renaissance. Melly Mel. This is before they was even the Furious Five. This was when I think it was like three of them was Mel, Cowboy, and Creole. Renaissance. First time I seen Theodore. They wasn't even the Fantastic Five yet. They was the L Brothers. You understand what I'm saying? At the Renaissance. This is where I seen her. So you know, what I'm trying to say is, in my opinion, Harlem hip hop is just as important as the Bronx hip hop legacy, because we ran hand in hand, Al. We ran hand in hand, and everybody from back then, they knew that, because back to Harlem World, when Harlem World opened, every act in the city, even if people came from Brooklyn. That's how Harlem World wound up getting fucked up, by the way. The Brooklyn motherfuckers came in there and they didn't know how to act. But everybody came to Harlem World. We had the Christmas shows, the Cold Crush, the Fantastic, Love Bug Starsky, Busy Bee Starsky, the battle. One of the greatest battles in history took place in Harlem World. Busy Bee and Mo D. That took place in Harlem World. I was on Rikers Island at the time, but yeah, it took place in Harlem World, man.
Right. Right. And it's crazy. I like the way you touching on everything. And like, I'll be honest with you, right? Okay, we did big venues, but when we got an opportunity and it went through Donald D to play down at Mr. Soul's on 115th, that was crazy.
Right.
That was real. Yeah. That was different to us. You understand? And like we all, and see the relationship, and it could have been your brother, but we always had a great relationship with y'all. I mean, I'm not gonna put nothing out there, but I had some problems down on 112th Street, and y'all roll with me, and I never forgot that. You understand what I'm saying? It was crazy. Greg talks about the story, but getting back to what you contribute, like your style, right?
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, you might have been the first MC to sing on a beat. Yeah. You understand?
I was.
Okay,
because I absolutely was.
I know the Crash Crew did it, and then I mean I got to give them their props. Staten Island, Force MDs just took it to another level. But you were the first, and it's funny because I was driving today, and Got to Be Real came on, and I knew I was gonna have you on the show tonight, and the whole thing just came back to me. The way you used to flow and everything. My wife looking at me like, "What you doing?" I said, "Well, I got my main man RAYVON on the show tonight, and this is what he was doing." She looked at me, you know, like, "Really?" I'm like, "Really?" You know. But again, people need to know what Harlem contribute to hip hop. I think
absolutely.
And I think one of the things you're going to agree with me is, I think with the Bronx, like Leroy Burgess, I did an interview with him a couple of years ago, and he was saying how the Bronx and Harlem simultaneously started. But to try to take credit away from the Bronx now, you out of your mind. They can have it. They got it. But they got to give us our props. You understand? And it took me a long time to cross that bridge to the Bronx. The time I crossed the bridge to the Bronx to support parties and do parties out there, the Bronx dudes were already in Harlem. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
Renaissance. You said it all. And the difference between us, and I think you're going to agree with it, is that the Bronx guys, and respect, no hate or anything, they took pictures. We was about our paper. We didn't think of taking pictures at parties and stuff like that. Like, you know, you had that hustle game. You know, I touched on it a little bit, but we wasn't thinking about documenting stuff, taking pictures and jumping in front of cameras. We was all about that champagne and other things. You understand? That paper. That paper. And yo, RAYVON, like, I don't know if you drink, but for the last 10, 15 years, right, when I hear these guys talk about popping bottles, they don't know what popping bottles is, because first of all, you can't take a bottle of Hennessy and pop it. You gotta turn it. You understand what I'm saying? It's no pop. Back then, it was the pipers, the Dom Perignon, and the Moet
Yeah,
came
yeah.
along later. You
You
understand?
know what's
So
crazy? There's a picture. I don't mean to cut you, but there's a picture floating around on the internet. I may even have it in my phone, so I think I may, because I made a copy of it from the internet. Of myself, Johnny, E-Man, this kid named Andre. He lived in Esplanade Gardens, I think, and my little man Junie. We were sitting at a table in Harlem World, and I got my head thrown back because somebody must have said something funny, and I'm laughing, right? But right in the middle of the picture, in the center of the table, is an ice bucket with, I think, it might have been 2 bottles of champagne in it. And you
Right.
got to remember, I went to prison at 19, so that picture had to be taken when I was 17 or 18. So we are young guys, like you said, bottles on the table. And I always tell people, like, a lot of, when I did parties, I didn't do parties and get paid to do parties. I did parties because I
Right.
loved. I sold drugs. I was a hustler. I got pulled into the game early, by some OGs off my block, and I started off holding the bundles in the hallway. They would come in the hallway, get the bundles from me, all the way up until I got my own crew doing my own thing.
Right.
And I'm not bragging. I'm definitely not glorifying the game or whatever, because my mother always said, had you concentrated on your music, you wouldn't have had to spend all them years in prison. I was in prison for 23 years, 23 fucking years.
Wow.
A lot of people don't realize how long I was in prison. I was in prison for 23 years. I wasn't in it for 23 years in one clip.
Right,
I did 2 different bits. But last time I was in prison, I was in there for 17 years. And I came home in 2007. You understand what I'm saying? I went to prison in the 90s and then come home to 2007. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
And had I focused on the music more, who knows where I would have been? Because like you said, before I started that sing rap thing, and I'm not arguing or debating with nobody because I know what I did. So I don't have to prove nothing to anybody. And there are those who know, and although you won't admit it, but you do know. You do know where that came from. Just recently, somebody put something up on Instagram from back in the days, a party we did with the Crash Crew. And Troy L. Smith called me and said to me, all this time, I thought you got that singing shit from the Crash Crew. He said, but I got a tape of you from 1979. He said, yo, High Powered Rap didn't come out till late 81.
Right.
Because I went to jail in 81. He said, that didn't come out until then. So you were singing this in 1979? I said, yeah. He said, I started, and Johnny wrote his verse. Johnny came up with a verse. And that's what we were known for, harmonizing MC. Yeah, we were known for that harmonizing style. I mean, even if you listen to Crash Crew version, you walking down the street, hold up, we walking down the street with your box in your hand. That's their verse. If you go back and find one of them old tapes, you'll hear me say, you walking down the street, just shaking your ass, girl. See, you couldn't put shaking your ass on the radio back then.
Right.
You can put whatever on the radio now, but you couldn't put that on the radio in 78, 79. So when they dropped their version, they had a cleaned up version. So their version got way more popular or way more exposure than my version. Because I was a street MC. I wasn't a studio MC. I talked about, and again, I'm not bragging or patting myself on the back. I might have been one of the first rappers to talk about the drug game, to talk about hustling. You understand what I'm saying? And when we went to Sylvia Robinson, when Sylvia Robinson wanted to sign us, and she heard some of our stuff, he's like, he got to clean that up. He got to clean it. He can't be talking about dope dealing and car wheeling and money making and girl chasing. He can't. I can't record that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we had a similar thing with Bobby, with Ronnie D. Pops, Bobby Robinson. No, it's not commercial. We never get it on the radio. And look at it. Look at hip hop now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, look at it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody had faith in us from the beginning. I remember. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go.
No, I was saying I remember established artists were criticizing Sylvia Robinson when she first started recording hip hop, when she did Rappers Delight, you know, there was Barry White was one of them. You know, that's not music. You know, that's garbage. You know, what's the Wynton Marsalis, one of the Marsalis brothers. You know, I vividly remember people talking bad about hip hop music. Now it's the best selling music in the world. Do you know in 1998, I know this because I was in prison, so I was reading everything and get my hands on. Hip hop outsold country music.
Wow.
Country music, a lot of people don't realize country music is the most popular form of music in America. The reason being, you have way more country states than you have city states.
Right.
You know, Arkansas, Alabama, Georgia, all that's country. North Dakota, South Dakota, all that's country. You know, Missouri, all that shit is country, right? And country music has always been the best-selling music on the market until, like I said, 1998, with Cash. Well, no, was it Cash? No, it wasn't Cash Money. It was other guys from New Orleans, Master P and them. Master P and Puffy and them, and Bad Boy was leading the charge, and they were tearing the charts up. They were they outsold country music. So all those people in the beginning who talked about rap just being some noise, some inner city kids, that, you know, that's not music. I mean, look at it now. Rap is involved in everything. You watch an NBA game, the music they play in the background is rap music. Might be Drake or whatever, but it's rap music.
Right.
It's everywhere. Well, hip hop music.
Yeah.
Hip hop. I'm still old school, so I'm still on hip hop. I'm still, I'm an MC. I tell people all the time, I'm an MC. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm an MC.
Why you brought that up, right? Let's touch a little bit about the performance. I mean, it's verses. It's not a battle. It's verses. That's something.
Right.
It's just like the mixtapes. You understand? They call albums or CDs mixtapes. So this is just another version of them changing the hip hop culture. So just touch on that performance between the verses between the Locks and Dipset. Like, what's your opinion about that?
Yo, let me tell you something. I'm Harlem to the heart. Anybody who know me, even in prison, I got in fights and beat people up by fucking with Harlem. Harlem to the heart. But I don't think Dipset was prepared. I think they went in there, you can tell that the Locks still spend time together. Their timing, their routines, everything was in sync. Cam warmed it up a bit, so did Jim Jones, but it wasn't their best performance. Let me say that. And I think they went back knowing that. We went in there bullshit, and they came to see. When you go to battle, whether it's versus, whatever, when you go to battle and you prepared, you remember the Treacherous 3, right?
Yeah.
The Treacherous 3 was one of the most well-organized. And they had rhymes, but they was well-organized. So when they battled, it was different. It's like one guy would complete the other guy's thought. And that's what you got with the Locks. It's like, and then Jada went, I ain't gonna say old school, because my man told me, he said, stop using that term. He said, you're not an old school rapper, you're a legend. You're an icon.
Right.
Jada went, how can I put this? Legendary on him for a minute.
Right, okay.
When he kicked that freestyle, now Cam should have followed suit, because Cam, I know you got some freestyles. Cam nice. Cam is nice as fuck. Jim Jones is nice. Jules is, I freaky see it. But Cam, nigga, you got bullets in your gun. You got an automatic on you, bro. You got a full clip. So when Jada did that, you should have followed suit and did the same thing. And that would have put it like in a better perspective for Harlem. Not just for Harlem, because like I said, Harlem didn't take the L. We didn't take a L. We didn't take no L. Everybody, Harlem took an L. Harlem took, all these memes all over. We didn't take an L. The verses was verses, and I enjoyed it, but I clearly, hands down, have to give the edge to the Locks, man. The Locks came in there prepared. They did what they came to do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They did what they came to do.
Let me cut you off. Was the Locks rappers or was they MCs that night?
They was rappers. I mean, excuse me, they were MCs that night. They were MCs that night. Them motherfuckers was MCs that night, bro. You see how they control the crowd?
Right.
MC, move the crowd. That's what an MC does. You know, technically, MC stands for Master of Ceremony. And they mastered that ceremony. They moved that crowd. They were MCs that night. Now, Dipset was rappers. Because they, and then at one point, Jada said, why y'all rapping over your records? See, that takes away from the performance.
Right.
That takes away. People don't realize that takes away from the performance. I'm not gonna say a name, but I was doing a show with somebody. I had did a couple of joints with them, and they wanted to. And I said, "No, bro, I don't want to rap while the record is playing. We got what we call a show. What's the drive? We got a show drive.
Right.
Huh? Yeah, we got a drive. Yeah, instrumental.
Right.
See, again, that's not being prepared. It might have been. It's been so long since Dipset probably went on stage together, or did a show together. Probably been so long, you know, that they thought they could just, you know, just slide through it. But you fucking with the Lots.
Right.
One of the best trios to ever pick up a microphone.
Right.
We talking about the Lots. And in my opinion, when I came home from doing my bid, I did a radio interview, and somebody asked me who was my top 5 MCs of all time. I said that's a hard one right there. But I said, you know, I threw Rakim out there. I always, you know, Rakim crazy. I said Jay-Z, Biggie, Jadakiss. And the guy said, Jadakiss? I said, yeah. I said, what, you don't think Jada is nice, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, following no trend or nothing. Listen, I remember years ago listening to the Lots, right? No, not the Lots. Jada had an album out, and you know me, I'm a lyricist, so I listen to bars. Right. And Jada said, what he said? He said, "Why nigga want what he can't have? Why I can't come through in a pecan Jag?" I'm like, how the fuck did he even think of that? How the fuck did he even think of that? A pecan colored Jag. How the fuck did he even think of that, Al?
Yo,
like,
that's crazy.
Why nigga want what he can't have? Why I can't come through in a pecan Jag? I'm like, yo, that shit hard as fuck. You know, no homo, that shit fire. Yo, that was fire. To me, to a lyricist, to a dude who write lyrics, that was fire. And like I said, you know, I'm a Harlem to the heart. Cameron uncle is my man. His uncle Carlos went to school with me from 3rd grade. That's my boy. Okay. So, you know, I love, I fucks with Dipset. I love Dipset. But I ain't gonna be no fake motherfucker and say I didn't sit there and watch that and wasn't ooh and ah. With Jada, I was ooh, damn.
Right.
My wife had it on speaker. I was like, yeah, it was.
No, that was crazy. So, yo, like,
I think they should redo it. I think they should come around for round 2.
But you know, they got a little tour going on. You know, I'm not sure if that's gonna hurt Dipset or what, but you know, it's you know how
I hope it doesn't.
It's always a gimmick.
Yeah, the industry is brutal.
Yeah,
the industry is brutal. But you know what else too? Steel sharpens steel. Okay? Steel sharpens steel. All they did was let you know. You gotta sharpen that shit up, bro.
Right.
You went up against steel. You gotta sharpen your steel now.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think also all the other performers, like hip hop artists.
My wife just came on. Hey, boo. I'll be over in a few. Matter of fact, y'all say y'all coming to Harlem? I'll see y'all in Harlem. Don't start commenting neither. That's my baby. 3C down. Love you, boo-boo.
I think that with Jada and them, they helped the industry. I think that all
yes.
with the records out, they're gonna do their homework now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And become better performers. Because see, that's what's missing out
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You know, the performance. just getting
You're
up there.
absolutely correct.
You got to have a gimmick. You got to have a gimmick. I was great at that as a DJ. And another thing is, like you said, Dipset wasn't prepared. The routine, the way they had their records flowing, they should have made it flow like if they was at a party. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I see your wife. She's saying, "Hey, boo, yeah. And I love that.
I knew she was gonna comment.
Right.
I knew she was gonna comment.
So you touched on the MCing part. You going to prison. Like people don't even understand where you are now and how great you're doing. I mean, you're doing a good thing, bro. And I just need you to touch on
Thank
that.
you.
Everybody know what your position is now, if you don't mind touching on it.
No, I won't. I don't mind. Like I said, I walked out of prison in 2007, and I had been in prison most of my life at that point. And blessings, the power of God, right? And I got to a point. They had these things they call millennium boxes, because I stayed in trouble out. I stayed fighting and all kind of shit. And I wound up in this place called the millennium box, right? It's like everything is in your cell. You don't go out your cell for nothing. Not even that 1 hour rec, because there's a rec pen attached to your cell. And I walked outside in the rec pen one day, and I looked around me and all these other rec pens. It's like a dog kennel. You ever see a dog kennel?
Yes,
dogs on top of dogs on top of dogs, all in these cages.
right.
That's how we were. I was like, yo, these people think we're animals. They think
Right.
we're animals. They think I'm an animal. So I decided right then and there, I'm not coming back to prison. So I came home. I met what is now my wife, and I got some assistance from a man called Bill Perkins, Councilman Bill Perkins. He was a senator at the time. Mr. Perkins knew me since I was a child. Knew my mother, my
Right.
godmother. My godmother told me, because I couldn't find a job. I came home, I couldn't find a decent job. I was working for a cleaning service, so forth and so on. Mr. Perkins took a chance on me. Gave me a shot, yo. And he's like, listen, I got something that you might be able to do. It's a temporary job. It's not a temp job, but you can do this until, I can see if I can find you something better. And what I did was I went down there. It was the Board of Elections. I went down there and I took that temp job, $12.50 an hour.
Right.
And I worked that job like I hustled. I did that job like I used to do when I used to hustle. I used to be the first man out there in the morning to pass out the samples to the fiends and all that. I worked that job like that. Everything that I could do, I did. Like they would ask people, oh, anybody want to do overtime? Yeah, I'll do it.
Right.
We need a light bulb change. I'll take care of it. Now, there were people, on the job. One of them still there. They still laugh at me. Yo, look at this motherfucker, yo. Yo, he brown nosed, he this and that. One of the guys used to say I was brown nosed. He's still sitting in the same seat that he was sitting in 2007, 14 years ago. Hasn't advanced at all. Me? I got my own department. I'm a project coordinator of Candidate Records Unit. What that means is every politician in the city who runs for office, he files his paper through my department.
Wow.
I get to sit in front of lawyers. I see judges, so forth and so on. I used to be afraid of that building downtown, the federal court building.
Right.
I'm in there presenting cases, helping to present cases. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I worked my ass off. I went from that $12.50 an hour to a six-figure salary now. You know what I'm saying? Because I put the work in now. I worked my job like I used to hustle. And I tell young people all the time, don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Because I'm living proof. I'm living proof.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I am living proof of you can change your life and do whatever you want to do. I get up in the morning, I put on a suit and tie, and I go to work. And I do I do my thing, bro. I do my thing.
Right,
and
right.
I still make music on the side.
And that's a good thing. And that's why, like, I didn't know all that. But I can just tell by the different things you post and the different things you say in your post that you are on a great platform. and you know, like it's crazy. And yo, we gotta shout out Sergeant, man. Yo, I gotta shout out Sergeant, man.
Yeah, Sarge, that's my nephew. Yo, when he found that we knew each other, he was like, yo, I didn't know you knew Cash. I was like, bruh. And you know, like I said, my family, the younger ones, you know, like my wife is. Let me tell you a funny story. I'm gonna make it real quick. When my wife first started dating, we got an apartment, right? We lived in Brooklyn. We lived on the first floor of a house. We was renting out the first floor of a house. And we was in Brooklyn, and we went to a mall somewhere in Brooklyn. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was over by Linden Boulevard. So anyway, we went to a mall, and we shopping. I think it was Target. And a guy walked up. I didn't know who he was. And just started singing that song I used to sing. You walking down the street, just shaking your ass. So my wife is looking like, is he singing to you? so the dude was like, yo, you RAYVON. You RAYVON. So I said, yeah, what's up, bro? How you doing? So my wife is looking like, what the fuck is going on? What the hell is going on here? He's like, yo, Ray, I used to be at the parties with you, Johnny, what is this, that? So, we slept 5, he walked away. My wife said, what the hell was that? I said, I used to be an MC. I said, MC? I said, I used to be a rapper. She said, what? She said, now remember, my wife is 21 years younger than me. My wife is 38, I think. And she was like, oh, what? I said, yeah, I used to be a rapper. She's like, get out of here. Get out of here. No, you didn't. I was like, yeah, I used to be a rapper. Then my son found out. My nephew found out. All these people, like the older people in my family, they knew. So my son and my nephew, they're doing music also. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And once they found out that that's what I was into, and then like people started doing little articles on me and so forth and so on, and my nieces and everybody, they was bragging, and that felt so good, Al. That felt so good. Oh, my uncle is RAYVON the Legend. My uncle is RAYVON.
Right.
And yeah, that was a good one.
No doubt, I know the feeling. But yo, we winding it down, and like usually I ask the guests. I haven't done it in a while, but I always ask the guests to give kids a positive message, and I'm going to ask you to do that before we sign off, because I mean you already told how blessed you are, but I just need you to say something for the kids, man. Yeah.
Truthfully, it kind of saddens me when I turn on the television nowadays to see, all the violence and whatever, so forth and so on. And one of the reasons why I believe is because kids don't have the proper, outlets, to channel that energy, so to speak. But I'm going to say this to kids, right? I am nobody's preacher, right? But I will tell you this. You are greater than you think you are. Trust and believe. It ain't how you start out, it's how you end up. Put the time, the energy into something positive, and amazing things will happen in your life. Doors will open to you that you will not believe open. Like I said, I've had lunch with the mayor. I've sat down with congressmen and me and Congressman Rangel, we used to go at each other all the time.
Right.
All of these things became, manifest themselves to me after I changed my way of thinking. But you have to change your way of thinking. You can't let people dictate to you who you are and what you're supposed to do. Because if we do that, they'll have us thinking that you're nothing but a hood nigga. You're supposed to be doing this shit that you're doing. You ain't supposed to get out the hood. You're supposed to die in the hood. No, you're not.
Right.
No, you're not. There's so much more to life than the hood, bro. And there's so much more to you than what you believe. And, hopefully as they progress and get older, they'll start to see these things. But if you're listening to me right now, remember I told you this, man. So some kid somewhere right now might be listening. 20 years down the road, you might say, I remember this dude told me that, because you don't even know your potential yet. If you out here, you 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, in your early 20s, 25, 26, you may not even realize your full potential. You don't even know what what you can do yet. You could be that person who changed the world, really, if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, that's a good look. Pray,
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thank you,
Yo,
bro.
man, I appreciate you. I'll be back up north in a couple of days. We're gonna hook up. Um, I can put it out there. We putting that Harlem story together. So we gotta
Right.
touch on that a little more. You know, people need to know the history, and now it's out there.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
yo, I'll call you soon. I get back in the city. I appreciate you again, bro. I really appreciate
Yo, I appreciate you, man. I
you.
really do. I
Ray Vaughn
appreciate
the
you.
legend. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Anytime, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, the Tango&Cash show is for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? That was a great interview, very informative. Me and RAYVON, we go way back. Like I said, he's in that era around the time hip hop first started in Harlem. He told his story about how he was incarcerated, how he came home and he took a $12 an hour job and did all the things. Somebody said he was kissing butt, and that same person that was saying that is still making $12 an hour and he's making six figures. So at the end of the day, what I want to say to the young people is don't put yourself in a position to go to prison. But if you're in prison and you see this interview that I just had with my main man RAYVON, there is still a chance for you. So with that being said, I'll see y'all next week on the Tango&Cash show. See y'all later.
You are now listening to Tango&Cash.